Consequentialism has been one of the ethical principles that was found by Jeremy Bentham, believing that an action will be proven ethical or not when the results are found out. This principle can be applied to the different concepts of life, but particularly when it is applied to the concept of family and the parent-child relationship, it is often regarded here in the Philippines that once a child gets older, they are somehow obliged to provide for their parents because they are in debt to them, which leads to series of reaction from the people whether it is truly proven ethical or not. Though in this paper or video, the act of a child being obligated to a certain responsibility for their parents is an act of unethical practice and should not be practiced since it will lead to a lot of problems.
For many generations, utang na loob in the family has become more toxic and disturbing, to the point that the love that comes from the parents seems to appear conditional and transactional, rather than unconditional and accepting. One of the issues this principle can give would be being the breadwinner in a Filipino family setup. Filipino parents expect the firstborn to be the next provider. It is as if they gave birth to a child to be their retirement plan. And so it is so disheartening to see children who unconsciously subscribe to duty based ethics and choose to think that they are in debt to their parents and that as long as they provide, no matter how and what consequences it would be, the rightful action is to repay. But as Jeremy Bentham's actual consequentialism, the parents are wrong because of the reason that they did not maximize the good, which resulted in a more chaotic and problematic end to their children.
Utang na loob does not result to justice and love. First, because the concept of utang na loob is considered as unreasonable debt, which you are expected to pay it off for the rest of your life. For example, once your family has helped you, it is impossible to compensate them with single money or tangible materials. Second, even if people argue that it's only an expression of gratitude, in reality, it just becomes an obligation. For instance, since the parents raise their child, it becomes the responsibility of the child to give back. It needs to be remembered that pluralism is also part of consequentialism, which holds that actions should be assessed by the result they produce, such as justice, love, or knowledge. So, utang na loob is not an ethical practice.
Additionally, according to an academic article titled The Culture of Debt in the Philippines by Jan Seidel, one negative effect of utang na loob in the aspect of possibilism is that it can limit personal growth and self-reliance. Possibilism refers to the belief that individuals have the ability to create their own opportunities and shape their lives. Thus, when someone feels a strong sense of indebtedness to others, they may become overly reliant on those individuals for support or favors. This can lead to a mindset where they believe that their opportunities and success are dependent on the goodwill of others rather than their own efforts and abilities. As a result, consequences may be detrimental as they may be less inclined to take risks, explore new opportunities, or challenge themselves to reach their full potential.
The culture of debt of gratitude to the family or parents in the Philippines does not equate to love or justice, as this can be a lifetime burden due to the fact that these are no longer acts of gratitude but an obligation. The act of a child being obligated to a certain responsibility for their parents is an unethical practice and should not be practiced since it will lead to a lot of problems. Children who experience the pressure of being in debt to their parents tend to have a strong sense of indebtedness in other aspects of their lives, altering their perspective when it comes to opportunities, risk, and freedom. Therefore, they are unable to reach their fullest potential. It is the parents' duty to be able to raise their children to the best of their abilities without expecting anything in return. Obliging their children to return the favor of raising them is unethical, as it was and still is the parents' obligation to support their children, and this is not a mere favor that must be repaid.